Cupertino is a small but special city. In this year when so many cities and towns are mired in financial difficulties, Cupertino has a balanced budget. Stay tuned to see how small city government works so well in Cupertino.
Welcome to The Better Part, a program that encompasses a diverse spectrum of topics important to our community, which we hope will both inform and entertain you. We invite you to sit back and enjoy the program.
When Cupertino was incorporated, it was a more rural area of vineyards and orchards. As the population exploded and business began to thrive, its character shifted to the more urban, high-tech center we know today. Cupertino is also a college town, with De Anza College an academic hub of 26,000 students. We have with us in the studio members of some of the city commissions who will discuss what they do and why they think this form of government works so well here. Each commission is created as an advisory arm of the City Council and has been charged with giving advice in specified areas. The city is proud of its citizen participation in government, and the Better Part extends a hearty welcome to those commissioners who have joined us today. Please introduce yourself with your name, your occupation, and the commission on which you serve. You start, Harvey.
I'm Harvey Barnett, and I serve on the Housing Commission, and I'm a retired educator from the Cupertino School District.
Wonderful.
I am Krista Wilson. I'm also on the Housing Commission, and I'm also the Executive Director of Elysian Fields Transformational Community.
I'm Shishir Chavan, and I proudly work on the TIC Commission as it is known. It's the Technology, Information and Communication Commission. And I'm a software consulting consultant.
And tell us how long you've lived in the Bay Area.
I think it's about 15 years that I have lived in Bay Area, and all of those 15 years has been in Cupertino.
Oh, wow, you're a long-term resident. And you, Krista?
I've lived in Cupertino for 22 years.
Wow, even longer.
And I've lived in Cupertino for 31 years.
Wow, it gets longer and longer, and you've all been here longer than I have. Has the area gotten better or worse, in your opinion, since you've been here?
From my perspective, it's gotten better because the amount of diversity has increased. The opportunities for dining, cultural events, and other fun activities have increased as the city has adapted to its increasing diversity of population.
Mm-hmm. Want to add anything to that?
I agree. It's gotten better since I've been here since middle school.
I mean, I would have loved to be experiencing how the Orchard Cupertino city looked like those days. But I think, in my opinion, even in the 15 years, it has really become much better, much vibrant, and much more enjoyable, in my opinion.
Okay, now to the nitty-gritty. What motivated you to volunteer as a commissioner in your city? How about you, sir?
I mean, I can start. I think after having lived here for 15 years, I always thought we should give back to the community and the city. And, working on a commission that can leverage my experience was the easiest way to, and I'm probably the newest member on the Technology Commission. And, within the last 6 to 8 months itself, I have realized that, what a great city we are living in, with great council and great city administration. And I've been proud and happy to be associated with the commission, so we can contribute to the society back, really.
Krista, what motivated you?
Well, I've lived in Cupertino since for 22 years. I went to middle school, high school here, and now I'm in the process of buying a house. We just bought a house from my parents, but other people my age can't do that because of the house prices and everyone's being pushed out of the area. A lot of my friends from high school and from middle school, even from Dianza, can't afford it anymore. And it would be, and I joined the commission so that I would be able to find out what we can do to help, especially
great.
people in my demographic of age-wise.
And you, Harvey?
Well, I believe strongly in giving back to the community, and since I have had the opportunity to retire, I've tried to be involved in various community activities. And when the opening on the Housing Commission came up, and I had worked a long time with West Valley Community Services, it seemed like a good match. And so I applied for the position.
So tell us a little bit about what the Housing Commission actually does.
Well, the Housing Commission advises the City Council on matters pertaining to low income and other kinds of affordable housing that is available to the city through grants, funding from various federal, state, local sources.
Is there much resistance to low-income housing in Cupertino, would you say?
Oh, there is an unmet need, yes. We have more citizens who fall below the income lines who would qualify than we have housing.
And what is the TIC Commission?
I think if you look at the role of TIC Commission, it's a two aspects of the role. One is being an advisory arm to the City Council and the Mayor, and the second is I think we also play a role as a liaison between the city administration, the City Council, and the citizens, and the service providers in the area of technology, information, and communication. So. I think the role is to enhance probably the level of information access and the technology, and thereby improving ability for better educational standards and better education into the community. So I think I'm new, but the way we have been interacting is in these areas. So
when you say technology, be a little more specific about what technology means in the commission.
In the last 6 to 8 months, what we have encountered is if there are issues that the city administration has experienced, for example, on the information technology that they have inside, maybe bandwidth issue or information, a lot of citizens access information from the city. So, the speed at which they can access information. Remember, there was a incident when, the Apple's plan, got published. There was a heavy load on the city infrastructure. So, all of these areas, the city works hard to make sure that they are better. And sometimes it comes to this, commission. We meet once a month, and, the commissioners, 5 commissioners which are on the TIC Commission, have experience on various areas, and we contribute to that areas. I think one of the areas is KMVT itself. I think KMVT is trying to modernize, change its platform from analog to digital. And they approached the city, and we worked with the city and the KMVT and TIC Commission played an advisory role to communicate back to the city and the mayor and the council to participate in KMVT's effort to modernize their facilities. So anything around and in city of Cupertino in these areas is somewhere we can contribute and help. That's what we have been playing as a role.
Great. And Harvey, in what ways do you think your contribution actually helps the City Council do a better job?
I think my background with West Valley Community Center and the working in the school district helped me to understand the issues around affordable housing, and working with the other members of the Housing Commission, make appropriate recommendations to the City Council so that we have the kind of necessary housing plan and housing available to all of the citizens in our community.
Great. And Krista, do you find the City Council is actually taking advice from the Commission frequently?
They do. They're very receptive. The meetings I've attended, they've been very open and listened very well to what we had to say.
Here's your chance to have something to say about city government. What do you think are the biggest challenges for small city government?
Sure. I can talk about it. My experience of the commission's meetings they are very intense. The city administration takes a very active part in the commission's meetings, and they present their issues, their plans, their visions. For example, the city is doing great work in the area of energy conservation and green area. So the city staff, I should be saying this, that we are really proud to be part of a city and the city administration which is trying to remain at the leading edge of these areas of technology, green, energy conservation. So one of the projects that they did was in water conservation of various islands around city, and they have been working with PG&E to provide energy conserving lighting systems. One of the other areas that they have been working, the commission and the city has been working, is in emergency alert system. So there are endless amount of projects, challenges and vision that the city and the city administration has to keep Cupertino, as a leading city or a smart city, if you can call it.
A green city.
And a green city, absolutely, Beverly. I think, probably the world's eyes are in Cupertino because we are the home of Apple, right? And with Apple's plan of, building the most, modern office facility for their corporate office, I think all eyes would be on Cupertino on how we deal with this challenge of this massive burden of Cupertino being the smartest city in this area or in America or the world.
We should mention, since we're talking about Green City, that for our audience, that if you go to the Cupertino Library, you can actually take out a kit that's been prepared by the city and find out how green your own house is.
You're absolutely right, Beverly.
And then make some changes if necessary. Okay, now tell those in the audience who might want to volunteer to be a commissioner exactly what's involved. How did you apply? What did you have to do to become a commissioner? Did you just walk in and say, I want to be a commissioner, or what?
Well, the city has on its website and through the Cupertino Courier and other news outlets, announces openings on commissions. And so you can go online and see what the commission does and see if your talents would be a good advocate for that commission. And you apply, and everybody who applies gets an interview. And after your interview, you interview with the city council, the city council makes a decision on who best fits what they're looking for at that particular time. And that's how you do it. They encourage citizen participation.
So it's basically almost like applying for a job, except that you don't get paid.
That's right.
Yes.
So Krista, tell us a little bit about what the meetings are like. I mean, is it a free-for-all at the meetings? Is there an agenda? Do you know what they're going to discuss at each meeting?
We normally have an agenda that's posted the day before or a few days before we get together. It is structured We come in, we talk about past meetings, and we talk about future events as well as whatever is on the table for us to discuss on that day. And we reach a consensus, and if it needs to be tabled to the next time for consideration, it's tabled. Otherwise, it's resolved immediately.
So the meetings are actually run according to parliamentary procedures, and there are minutes, and
Yes.
it's not just everybody sitting around chatting.
Correct.
So, did anything disappoint you about the job when you finally got appointed as a commissioner? Were you happy? Did it disappoint you in any way?
I think I would say, I think I want to catch up on the thing that you said. It's a not paid job. It's a voluntary job. But I think it has been a rewarding experience, right from the get-go. It's a very formal procedure. It's very open. It's very democratic. You go to the website and you can see everything out there as to how you want to apply, when the positions will become open. Even if you are not on the commission, you can still attend the meetings as a citizen and still participate in the meetings. So and
That's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned that, because the times and places of the meetings are posted, and if anybody has something to address the commission about, they're free to put themselves on the agenda.
Right, and a lot of citizens are very active. For example, on the TIC Commission, one of the citizens has given us a challenge. After reading the Google's Kansas City 1 gigabyte connection, they have said, when would Cupertino be at that level? So I think very organized. The city is extremely open. As far as conducting the meetings are concerned, and very involved. I think what I've seen is the time of 2 hours per month is sometimes short as far as the agenda items are concerned for the commission.
Mm-hmm. So the commissioners have a term of 1 year, right?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
Right.
And then
Okay.
you can reapply once.
Will you reapply for another term?
I've had my 2 terms, but I would certainly like to serve again. And
And can
look for
you?
some other, not on the Housing Commission.
Oh, so you can find another spot where you
Oh.
think your talents apply and go there.
Right.
Very good.
Yeah, I think it is. I think most of the citizens might not know that there is this kind of an opportunity available for them to contribute back to the city. So I hope this program that you have organized would help them, would incentivize them to go on the city website and see and experience all of this, and participate in an area like Krista and everybody is doing.
Absolutely. And for those who are thinking about it, it's really lots of fun and interesting to see how government works from the inside. You really learn a lot about small city government. And as they say, all government is local, and this
Right.
is your local government.
And if they're interested, they should attend meetings of the commissions they're interested in.
Right.
To see how they function.
Absolutely. Right, to make sure that that's where you actually do fit in.
Right.
Here's your chance to say something about your city. What would you change about Cupertino if you had the power?
Well, I've thought a lot about that. And I would not so much change as continue to push for retail. Like Valco is sort of a ghost city in the middle. And if it weren't for the theaters, I don't know what they would do. But I like to shop local, and I think encouraging people to shop local is a big step to keep Cupertino vibrant and the money in Cupertino. And some of the recent things that have occurred along Stevens Creek Boulevard are a good indication of what is possible.
Krista, is there any particular kind of store or business that you think is missing in Cupertino? that you'd like to see there?
I would like to see more businesses geared towards crafts for local craftsmen. And you see that a lot on the outlying areas like Santa Cruz, but not so much in Cupertino. You don't have an outlet for local artisans to sell their wares.
Oh, to sell rather than buy crafts.
Sell and buy. If we had an outlet where you had young moms that were at home to make their crafts, or young dads that are at home make their crafts and somewhere to sell it, that would be an amazing thing to have.
Kind of like a gift shop where people could put their work on consignment.
Yes.
That's great. That's a good idea. If you were asked to fill in the blank in this sentence, my greatest concern about my city is, what would you say?
I think I did talk about it, that we don't want change to happen. We love the city as it is, right? It's nestled beautifully in the corner of a hill, right? But I think Cupertino needs to be, as I said, in the leading age of technology, information, innovation, for that matter. And if I go back to your earlier question, I think the way I would like to see it, being a college town and such a great school town, I think there has to be a center where children at the young age and working moms and others can really participate in an innovation center, and where there is an opportunity for creativity and thinking, so that the foundation is laid inside the Cupertino city itself for its students and citizens, is something that we should look forward to.
So you think it needs a kind of central recreation center? Is that what you had in mind?
Recreation and innovation center, where children can participate in competitions, can create the next Nobel Prize winners, for that matter. There is so much that we can do here.
Okay, if you had to describe your experience as a commissioner in one word or short phrase, what would you say?
Positive, invigorating, and enlightening.
Great. And you?
I would echo that. Positive and definitely enlightening.
I think I would call it as rewarding. It has been an extremely rewarding experience, even though I'm the newest member of the commission.
Are there any final comments that any of you would like to add that we haven't covered so far?
I have one, and I'd like to make sure that Cupertino continues to attract a variety of residents and businesses, and that it doesn't become a Beverly Hills of the North, where only the rich can live here. Because I think a diverse population is important for our children, for our businesses, and for the health of the community.
That's interesting. I hadn't really thought about Cupertino as being a city where the rich live. I thought Atherton was,
Well,
was that place.
You know what?
But
I have a lot of my friends that I went to school with. They live in Hollister, they live in Tracy, and they bus down here to work. They live outside of the places they grew up. A lot of us would love to raise our families where we were raised. I mean, I'm one of the very few that's able to enjoy my children having the same teachers that I had when I was younger. And that is an opportunity that many of my friends don't have. Many of the friends that I keep in touch with, they make decent money, and they cannot afford to live in this area.
it's kind of a vicious circle, because when you have a lot of big businesses and people wanting to live near their jobs, that drives up the price of housing, and of course the good schools also drive up the price of housing here. I want to thank you all for being with us today, Harvey, Krista, Shashir, and I hope that audience has gotten some useful information that will lead them to follow up with finding out about the other city commissions and how they might contribute their skills and talents to better city government. See you next time. Bye for now.